Project 2025 is gearing up to dismantle the very foundation of our democracy. It's not just a policy proposal, it's a blueprint to undermine the integrity of our elections, paving the way for chaos and control. We must resist Project 2025. This isn't fear mongering, it's a reality we must face. Project 2025 aims to strip away the safeguards that protect our elections, leaving us vulnerable to manipulation and fraud. Stay with us as we dissect their plans and reveal how you can stand up for democracy. Follow us on social media. Search for Turn Left PAC and hit that subscribe button.
Our country is going to hell. The critical job of institutions such as Heritage is to lay the groundwork, and Heritage does such an incredible job at that. This is a great group, and they're going to lay the groundwork and detail plans for exactly what our movement will do and what your movement will do when the American people give us a colossal mandate to save America. And that's coming. That's coming.
Joining me today is Kimber Watson to break down how Project 2025 threatens the election process and what we can do about it. Welcome to the show, Kimber.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. Well, let's start off with the first attack. Federal oversight of elections. Project 2025 isn't just trimming around the edges. It's gutting the core protections that keep our elections free and fair.
True. Very true, John. And as we just saw in the little clip that you just showed, Trump knows about Project 2025, and he's known about it since 2022. And he's like ready to implement these things regardless of what anybody else says. He's ready to do that. And it's kind of really scary to see the things that he's trying to do to our country. Our country is not a bad country. We have a good country. It's just that we have a lot of bad actors in government, and that's where we're having the issues. And unless we get rid of the bad actors in government, we're not going to be able to fix anything. And the way we start doing that is we vote up and down the ticket blue all the way, because the only people that are going to save our democracy right now are the Democrats. The Republicans just want to take away everything that was put in place in the 248 years that the Constitution's been in place. I mean, even Trump said that he wanted to shred the Constitution at one point, and then he backpedaled, just like he keeps backpedaling on Project 2025, and then he calls it Agenda 47. It's like, seriously, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing, just rebranded in a different way. And you absolutely hit it on the head here when you talk about the Republican Party. They are proposing dismantling the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division, which enforces voting rights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they want to put all that under the control of the new conservative president. And we all know who the next conservative president is going to be if he is elected. And the only way like I said, the only way we're going to be able to combat this is by taking him out with every American voting. We need to have the highest numbers in this election than we've ever had in any election. This is the most important election in all of our lifetimes. I mean, one of the things that concerns me is I have grandsons, I have granddaughters, I have 21 grandkids, let's put it that way. And I am concerned about their future. I want them to have a free America like I grew up in, but if we allow these people to get into power, one of the first things they want to do is they want to take, Joe Biden wrote an executive order to protect voter rights. One of the first things they want to do is they want to overturn that executive order when they get into office. How fair is that to the people?
It's not fair at all. That absolutely reduces the power of federal institutions that oversee election integrity, opening the door for state level interference from guess who? groups that are associated with MAGA, with
Mhm.
all of these extremist agendas. Um, so yes, this absolutely could lead to just a patchwork of laws where voter suppression becomes the norm
Mhm.
in certain states and perhaps all states.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, John, let's go back a few years. Well, actually, let's go back quite a few years. Let's go back to 2012 when uh, Donald Trump said that the election was rigged. That was because Obama won, and so it was rigged because Obama won and not the other guy. And all along, he keeps telling us, "Oh, it's rigged. It's rigged." And he even started this thing where I don't know if you remember in what was it 2017 or 20, I think it was 2017, where he uh, got this little voter committee together and he put Mike Pence at the head of it. And the whole goal was to find out about voter fraud. And the funny thing is that when they concluded their investigation, they found no fraud in our electoral process. I mean, right now he keeps saying he's just said not too many months ago, well, there's going to be a bloodbath if I lose. Well, what do you call January 6th? Because that was pretty bloody, if you ask me.
That was pretty bad, right? And it
Yeah.
certainly was not the damn walk in the park that they all want to say it was. It was not a a, a peaceful protest, and this was not in terms of expressing First Amendment
Mhm.
protected speech. This was violent. This was a violent mob that was sent there by Donald Trump to carry out his will. And while the glass and the windows were broken, um, and some of those windows, how long have they been there? Who's looked through those panes of glass? The history
Right.
that was involved, and it was just defiled. And as they broke their way into the Capitol, they defiled the halls of
Mhm.
Congress. And
Right.
he laughed.
One of the things that I really dislike about, see, first of all, let me clarify something. I don't hate Donald Trump. I just hate what he stands for. And I dislike the fact that he lies constantly. And all you have to do is watch what he says and what he does. And it's not like it's not accessible. We have, look at, we just pulled up a tape from 2020, 2022, where he was endorsing the plan that the Heritage Group was putting together. All this stuff is out there for us to find, and people need to do their research. They really need to do their research. They need to watch what's happening in the hearings on C-SPAN, or what's happening on the House or the Senate floors, what these people are saying and what they're doing. They have tried to put bills forward to block our voting rights. You know,
Absolutely, this is a recipe for disaster
yeah,
because less federal oversight means more opportunities for election manipulation, right?
right.
And especially in vulnerable communities,
Mm,
particularly where minorities and low-income voters are, where they could find it harder to exercise their right to vote.
yes, yes.
The
And
potential for chaos and contested results is just increases, and the threat um, to to the stability of our democratic process and just the chaos that it would unleash in our communities is unacceptable.
it really is, John. And you know, the thing that scares me is since since Donald Trump announced that he was going to run for president again, he's been already saying that the election is rigged. He's already been putting the little pieces into place. He's got people, I mean, look what's happening in Georgia right now. There's the lawsuits because they're already trying to circumvent the election.
Yep.
I mean, what kind of people are these? You know, these are people who took an oath to the Constitution. And the first line of that Constitution says we the people. It doesn't say we the Republican Party. It does not say we Mr. Trump. It does not say we the Democrats. It says we the people. And that's the thing that just drives me nuts about this whole thing, is because they don't care, the Republicans, Donald Trump, they don't care about what the people want. They just want their agenda. And right now, like when I was living in Texas, I saw a whole new I didn't understand how bad it really is in areas like Texas. But they make it so hard for people to vote out there. It's ridiculous. And they want to do this in every state.
It's insane. This is just the beginning. Project 2025's assault on our election process could lead to an era of disenfranchisement and distrust. But there's more. And after the break, we're going to explore how Project 2025 is targeting the very mechanisms that ensure that every vote is counted.
When I ran for Congress, we flipped more Trump voters blue than any other congressional race in the country. We did this by calling out the GOP's lies and speaking truth against their $1 million attack ads. I've now partnered with Turn Left, and we're taking the fight to the extremists like Marge the Trainwreck Green, Ted Cruz, and Josh Hawley, to name a few. And I'm asking each and every one of you all to donate $25 today to the group that is absolutely helping to send these jackaloons packing. It's time to speak truth to power and turn left.
Project 2025 doesn't just stop at oversight. It's coming for the infrastructure of our elections, the very systems that ensure every vote is counted accurately and securely. Kimber, what specific parts of the voting infrastructure are they targeting?
Mail-in voting, early voting. The other thing is that they want to go back to paper ballots. They seem to think that like people are voting online or something like that. I'm not really sure where they get their information, but it's kind of a little backwards. And they also want to make it so that there's what's that word? They want to put a question so that you prove that you're a citizen. And my thought is, do these people really know how the process actually works to be able to vote? Because when you go, usually you vote when you registered. Most people register to vote at the DMV. And in order to be able to get a license in this state, you have to prove where you were born, what your citizenship is. If you were married, you got to show how you got married. You got to have your marriage license, all that stuff. So right there, when you're at the DMV, you're proving that you are who you are. You were born in this country or you became a citizen. And they keep saying that like there's all these people that are illegal people that are voting. Well, how are they being able to vote? You have to answer questions. You take an oath when you go to apply or register to vote. You have to take an oath that you swear that you're a citizen of the United States. These are people who were born above us. Like Donald Trump, for example, he was a silver spoon baby, and he doesn't know. He probably doesn't even know how to get a driver's license, let alone go to the grocery store. He probably doesn't even know how to put gas in his car, for that matter. But the thing is that they want to use the oh, I get so frustrated when I talk about this, because they want to use like the DOJ and other entities to circumvent our elections.
Absolutely. The plan includes reducing federal funding for election technology, leading to outdated and vulnerable systems. Now, they all are always saying that, oh, we need to have safer elections. We need to do this and that. But this particular plan undermines that very principle that they are always complaining about. It proposes eliminating federal standards for voting machines, allowing states to use unregulated, insecure technology,
Right.
just like you were
Yeah,
talking about.
exactly. And think about this. Think about this. When 2020 happened, do you remember that Trump wanted to have all the electronic voting things pulled so that he can make sure that there was no fraud? He was using that as an example of fraud. But then even his own DOJ, Bill Barr, said, hey, no, sorry, there was no fraud in this election. But yet, to this day, he keeps telling us, no, it was rigged and it was stolen. It was mine, and I'm still president. And it's like, no, sir, you're not. The people
Exactly.
voted.
You lost, and yeah, you need to hit the road. But the Project 2025 plans to cut cybersecurity resources that protect against hacking, foreign interference.
Mhm.
Um, this is a plan for disaster, Kimber.
Well, every safeguard that we have in place right now to protect our vote, they want to dismantle every single safeguard, and in every single state they want to make this national. um and how, if they are able to do this, how are we going to be able to have access to free and fair elections?
We're not.
No, we're not.
Exactly.
And here's the worst part. We are already going into an election that's not free and fair, and I'll tell you why it's not free and fair. It's because Donald Trump has manipulated the courts to the point where all his cases are not going to be heard till probably after the election. He's even just recently just said to the judge in DC that he wants to postpone it till like next spring. To me, that's like the worst thing that we can happen. We need to know if these charges that have been brought against Donald Trump, we, the people, need to know if he committed these crimes or not. And if he had committed these crimes, then he should no longer be on the Republican ticket.
Well, that would be the sensible thing, right? But it seems like we're not living in a with a sensible Republican Party,
Well,
and
no,
that erosion of public trust in the election process is just going to result in lower voter turnout and increased polarization, and that's exactly what they're after.
exactly.
We absolutely have to do everything in our power to elect candidates, elect Democrat candidates all the way up and down the ballot, from school board to federal positions, all the way up and down the ballot.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. It's not just Donald Trump that's trying to circumvent our election this time. The Republican Party, they're standing behind him. They're already saying that, oh, we're not gonna uh sorry, can't think of the word. They're not gonna validate the votes
Right,
when they
right,
get
right.
to Congress. Really, people? That's not your choice. Your choice is your job is to say, okay, we certify the votes that the American people made. But they're already putting this stuff in the woodwork. I mean, even the courts are keeping us from knowing these things. I mean, the minute that they held on to that immunity clause for how many months, they could have done it in a couple of days. They could have turned around and said, yeah, no, you're not. But no, they waited, and then they wrote this opinion that gives a president free will when they're in the White House. That's totally wrong. So we're already seeing these things starting to happen. They are already trying to put these things into place.
Oh, they're desperate.
Right. And they're using scare tactics. They're using the scare tactics. Oh, the election's rigged. The election's rigged. Well, you know what? I don't believe that the elections are rigged, but they will be if Project 2025 goes into place. And the thing is like the DOJ, they're supposed to protect our elections, not dismantle them.
Absolutely. You know, just imagine a future where your vote doesn't count, not because you didn't vote, but because the system failed you. That's the reality Project 2025 is preparing for all of us. But what about the rules that govern our elections? After the break, we'll reveal how Project 2025 plans to rewrite them to their advantage.
Today, we have an amazing show for you. Join myself, special guests, and celebrities.
What's going on, Ice-T? Andrew Yang.
Somebody else was hopping on.
Oh, hold on.
What's going on, Battle?
As we roast GQP jackaloons.
He may not be a real businessman, but he is one hell of a con artist.
That's what it is. That's what they got indicted for. Treason and sedition. And addresses the headlines of the day.
They must be held accountable.
Live streaming every night. I got more time in a friggin' port in a friggin' combat zone than you probably got in the military. This is Ojeda Live.
Project 2025 isn't just looking to influence the process. It's aiming to rewrite the rules themselves, giving an unfair advantage to those in power. Kimber, let's talk about the changes that Project 2025 would make to our election system.
Well, John, I think Donald Trump probably summed it up the best when he said, I can't quote him exactly, but he basically said that in 4 more years, you won't vote this time. In 4 more years, you won't have to vote because we'll have it fixed.
Right. He's already letting the cat out of the bag. This is what they've already got in the works. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, they already have it in the works. And basically what they're going to do is they're going to take over all these entities on all these states, and the states are going to have to answer to them. They're going to have to do it their way. But if Trump is right in the way that they've been working on this, and people won't have to vote again, that doesn't make us a democracy anymore. That makes us an autocracy or worse.
Absolutely. And they are pushing for stricter voter ID laws that would disproportionately affect minorities, the elderly, and students. And also, they're trying to institute proposals to gerrymander districts more aggressively, ensuring that power remains in the hands of a few.
That's right. And when you think about the Constitution, it's supposed to be more about the many, not the few. That was the way I understood it. And we are the many, we the people, and that's the thing. I bet you that most people that work in Congress or the Senate and the federal government probably don't even know what the first 3 words of the preamble of the Constitution is. They certainly don't act like they do, because if they did, then they would be more focused on what's good for the people. But before I forget, I want to make sure that it's not just the seniors and it's the disabled. And we need to remember the people who actually own this land, who actually are truly American citizens, that were not immigrants at all. The Native Americans will be affected with this. They have a little spill in there in the Project 25 where they talk about the Native Americans. They have this whole process, this whole thing all figured out.
Yeah, they want them to force them into a deeper poverty, and giving the only way out is to use their own lands for oil drilling, and
Yeah.
just something that's totally against everything that they stand for as far
Yeah.
as the
It's like,
relationship with the land and in the water. Yes, indeed.
yeah, it's just like they all they want is they want the people to succumb to whatever their vision for America is. And I don't believe that their vision for America is what the forefathers put in place for us. I don't believe that their vision of America is patriotic. I believe that their vision for America is, I think I said it before, draconian. It's really, really scary what they want to bring us back to. History has showed us time and time again that when you have one person overseeing everybody, it doesn't work.
Indeed. Fewer voting options could lead to lower turnout. Gerrymandering could lock in political power for a generation, regardless of public opinion. And the combination of these efforts could lead to in elections that no longer reflect the will of the people, but rather the will of those designed the system to serve their interest.
Yeah. See, the thing is that we keep talking about they want to gerrymander, they want to take away voter rights, or manipulate the rights of people's votes. They want to be the ones to oversee elections so that they can call fraud anytime that they want. However, I want to go back to that one piece where Donald Trump told us, vote for me this time. In 4 more years, you won't have to vote again.
Yep.
That in itself speaks volumes.
That is the bottom line.
Yeah.
Project 2025 is an existential threat to our democracy. It's not just a policy, it's a strategy to control the future of our elections, our rights, and our country. But here's where you come in. We need every voice, every vote, and every action to fight back. Go to turnleftpac.org, sign up for updates, and download your action guide. Share this message, engage with your community, and let's protect our democracy together. Project 2025 isn't just a plan, it's a blueprint for disenfranchisement, manipulation, and control, and it's time to take a stand. Our elections are the cornerstone of democracy. If Project 2025 succeeds, that cornerstone crumbles. Like, share, subscribe, join the fight, and stay tuned next for Ojeda Live.